So where do the Baptists come from? There are at least four different scenarios, and I think there's probably some truth to all four of them. So scenario number one, and the one that the Catholics and the Protestants try to push so hard, is the idea that the Catholic Church started with John Smith in the very early 1600s, like 1609, something like that. And what they're saying is that really the Catholic Church is just one of the multiple branches of denominations that started out of the Church of England. So the Puritans, Pilgrims, the Congregational churches, Presbyterians, Methodists, all started out of the Church of England. And so they'd say, not the Presbyterians, I'm sorry, the Methodists started out of the Church of England, and that one of those groups was the Baptist groups as well. Another position would be that the Baptist churches started around the same time as John Smith, or maybe just a little bit earlier, but that they were dissenters who began to follow the Anabaptist teachings. So the Anabaptists were in Europe, they would say, and since they were following they didn't believe what the Church of England was teaching, so they kind of embraced Anabaptist teachings, and so that they weren't Anabaptists, but they became Anabaptists. Interesting, by the way, John Smith found some Baptists to be baptized. And so there was the idea that there was just, that there were no other Christians except for the Church of England or the Catholics is not true. John Smith, this group that decided that, in Baptist principles and Baptist immersion, found some Baptists to baptize them. And then they did practice, once one of them got baptized, then they practiced what they called say baptism, which is self-baptism, that sort of a thing. Another view is that the church, that the Baptists traced back through the Anabaptists, which would be the Montanists, Donatists, Cathari, Paulicians, Waldensians, and so forth. And they come through that European group, and then they just kind of work their way up. And then, which I think there is some truth there, by the way. I think they are Baptist, Anabaptists. They were German Baptists, come from there. Swedish Baptists come from all of that group. They don't come from John Smith. They come from the old Anabaptists that were in Europe. But there is another view, and that is that Baptists also come from Wales through the Apostle Paul. Pudens, Linus, and Claudius in the New Testament were the Welsh people claim were Welsh slaves in Rome, won to the Lord by the Apostle Paul, returned to the British Isles, to their country of Wales, and that they evangelized and won souls. So that when Augustine came to England as the British Isles as a missionary under the command of the Pope, he found that there were already Christians in the British Isles, and those Christians refused to unite with and yoke up. He just wanted this Catholic missionary. He just says, hey, since you guys are Christians and we're Christians, why don't you just join up with me? I can go back and tell the Pope that I've been successful. And these groups of Christians refused to unite with the Catholic system, and it is my conviction that the Baptists that we find mostly in America came from the Welsh history that goes back to the 1st century and to the Apostle Paul, to those groups.